Do you know what, right? We've lost a few matches this season, haven't we, where we've been pretty shit, we've probably deserved to lose, and do you know what, actually taking the loss and accepting it's probably not even that bad, because it's just like, yeah, you know, we were out of depth, much better team. Bit like the one at Anfield against Liverpool, you know, even at Old Trafford earlier on in the season against Man United, we were absolutely pony. But it's so hard to take a loss like yesterday when you do feel like the boys turned up. You know, you look at the side yesterday, and sorry people, because I'm like, you've got me in the edit here. I'm trying to get comfortable and get plotted up so that I can give you lot a post-match review, which obviously normally would have come out off of the channel yesterday, but I am on holiday, as you can see, so can't blame me too much. Let's have a little look at the starting 11. You can see it on screen right now. Gallagher, left wing. I know that's going to probably be the main talking point for you lot, probably be what you would disagree with the most. I'm guessing in that starting lineup, I don't hate it, you know, I actually don't. If we were playing Luton, if we were playing Burnley, if we were playing any other team, to be honest, and he stuck Gallagher left wing, I'd think, Poch, what the fuck are you doing again? But I do think under the circumstances, when you're playing Manchester City, when you understand it, you're never going to blow them away. That being said, we could have done in that first half, you know. But you're never going to blow them away. Really, what you're going to have to do is be resolute, defend well, and then take your chances when you can get them. And when you look at that Man City midfield, I think it probably makes sense to have Gallagher in there. Also, we know already, don't we, that Mauricio Pochettino's clearly not confident in Mykhailo Mudryk and what he can produce in some of these big games. Raheem Sterling out of favour, possibly, and this might sound like a contradiction because I've spoke before about the fact that I'd rather have Mykhailo Mudryk in the starting lineup now for the rest of this season rather than Raheem Sterling. Possibly the right option yesterday would have been to stick Cole Palmer on the right wing, stick Raheem Sterling on the left wing, and maybe have Conor Gallagher in the 10. Yeah, I'm not sure I like Conor Gallagher in that 10. He's played there this season pretty much for most of the season. I don't think that he's really creative when it comes to his numbers, putting up goals and assists. I don't think you're seeing from Conor Gallagher there what you'd see for, I mean, look at Cole Palmer the other day, man. Against Everton, I get they're completely different level opposition to Man City, but against Everton, Cole Palmer starts in the 10 and he scores 4 goals. So, you know, you can sort of see where I'm going with that one. Looking at the game itself, I thought we had the much better chances in the first half, but you know, even teams, I was about to say below us in the table, half the table's below us, we're only in about 9th, but even teams below us in the table do know how to be a lot more clinical when it comes to sort of creating those opportunities, taking those opportunities, and then shutting up shop, and that's just something we're not able to do. Obviously, the best chances on the day were those that fell to Nicholas Jackson. Let's have a little chat about Nicholas Jackson, because he missed a few, I should say. Right, I'll sort the camera over there. Hopefully this is a bit of a better angle. Anyway, Nicholas Jackson, do you know what? The first one, when he shoots with his left foot straight at the goalkeeper, would some strikers have possibly put that away? Possibly, but I'm mad that he didn't know. The real criminal one is probably when he gets the better side of Kyle Walker and he shoots at Ortega, who obviously makes the save. You'd hope that if a striker gets that sort of one-on-one chance in a match, regardless of it being Kyle Walker they're up against, and he did get the better of him, to be fair, you'd hope that that striker, that number 9, could put that goal away. Now, 360 TV put up a post, and they were comparing Nicholas Jackson to Thierry Henry, and saying that maybe in the off-season Nicholas Jackson needs to surround himself with the likes of a Thierry Henry and try to learn from Thierry Henry's game, because there's similarities between the two, you know, both of them young, coming into the Premier League, both of them converting from wingers to strikers. I'll be honest with you, I don't think Nicholas Jackson should convert to a winger to a striker, because I think Nicholas Jackson's better as a winger. Nicholas Jackson is never going to be the man that leads Chelsea's line, in my opinion. Nicholas Jackson's never going to be a man that, apart from maybe the odd season, say he stayed at Chelsea for 10 seasons, I'm sure he'd have 1 or 2 seasons where he does get 20 goal involvements, 20 plus goal involvements, but for the most part, I don't really see him being that man, to be honest. I think he is very good out on that left-hand side. I also think, if you imagine yesterday we had a number 9 in there, someone we could rely on and count on to score our goals, Nicholas Jackson could have played on that left-hand side. We played Conor Gallagher there. We were sort of half short of options there. Could have had Mudryk, could have had Sterling. I remember the game earlier on in the season against Luton. I think he started Pochettino, Broha and Jackson. Jackson played on the left wing. I thought he was good. I thought he was good in that game. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be too harsh on Nicholas Jackson. Of course, the best chances of the match, especially for Chelsea, fell to him. He didn't convert them, but it only solidified what I've already sort of come to a conclusion on this season. That is that Nicholas Jackson is not going to be a prolific goal scorer. What Nicholas Jackson is very good at doing is, I think his hold-up play is decent. He's very, very good, elite, I would say, at taking a ball on the turn. You see the way he was doing it yesterday. And I'll tell you what, he had nowhere near as much success up against Kyle Walker as Raheem Sterling did, but he didn't do a bad job up against Kyle Walker. So the elephant in the room to some, and I did message him last night and said I was going to have to mention this in my video, Yannick, Football Therapy, the big dog, great channel. You guys, I'm guessing you'll watch him, but if you don't, you should. Very, very good Chelsea channel. He put up on his story yesterday saying along the lines, I'm paraphrasing here, but saying along the lines of saying, imagine in any business or walk of life, you've got a 33 goal this season, 30-year-old, experienced, battle-worn, clinical striker in Romelu Lukaku, and for whatever reason you're in your biggest games of the season and you're scratching your head with a striker who's not really a striker and doesn't really convert his chances, and sometimes, or more or less all the time, misses the easier ones but converts the harder ones. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Should we have Romelu Lukaku back at the club? It's a hard one, isn't it? Most Chelsea fans don't want to answer it. If they do answer it, they want to say, no way, you can't treat Chelsea like that. And I am of that mould. Like, I am exactly the same way. The the mentality, the morals as to how he's treated Chelsea Football Club. The fans for that, mugged us off, really. Do we really want to invite someone like that back in with open arms? But I tell you what, when you watch a match like yesterday, you can't help but feel that could have been a different result had we have had a clinical number 9 there, had we have had a Romelu Lukaku. Then again, maybe he never would have got in them opportunities, got in those positions to be able to take the opportunity, I should say. What we do need to speak about yesterday is the absolutely fucking disgraceful penalty or non-penalty decision. Cole Palmer takes the free kick. I think it's 55th minute or something, second half, wasn't it? Grealish handballs it, goes out for a corner. Now I'm fuming because we're only getting the corner here. We're not getting the penalty, which it rightly deserves. I'll tell you one thing, if it was Cole Palmer that handballed Grealish's free kick, we all know what the referee's doing. He's pointing to the fucking spot. And yeah, we didn't get the penalty. We also didn't even get the corner. So I don't know how that one adds up. Obviously in the League Cup there wasn't VAR. I'm pretty sure in the FA Cup there is VAR. Realistically, I think the referee can hang his head in shame at that one. I know Man City went out of the Champions League in the week, and there's still a couple of teams in it in the Premier League title race, but don't try and guarantee banking Pep Guardiola these trophies, mate. Play a fair game, and look, the VAR should have come in. They should have had a word in the ref's ear and just to say, look, it's gone off his hand, or it's at least gone out for a corner. If you don't think it's an intentional handball, you still need to give the corner. They didn't do that. Would giving the corner have done anything for Chelsea? No, probably not. But would giving the penalty? Yes, because you've got a guaranteed penalty scorer in Cole Palmer on the pitch. So if you give the penalty, we probably get a goal, and then who knows? World's our oyster. So it's bad, really. It is bad, isn't it? How was the game lost? Do you know what? The way Mauricio Pochettino lined up, the job that Chelsea did tactically, defensively, I actually thought was very, very good, to be honest. I couldn't really fault it. I couldn't really sit there, pinpoint areas and say, well, you did this wrong. I thought we were good. I thought in the first half we were the better side. But those sort of mental vulnerabilities, would I call them? Just naivety, just immaturity in our performances, that set in the second half, and the worrying trend of Chelsea being worse in a second half than we are in a first half continued, to be honest, because we weren't any better in the second half. Man City did come into it, and do you know what? I turned to my dad. I was watching the game with my old man, and I said it's concerning that we're not 1 or 2 up at half time, because I said that is probably the worst Man City are going to be in the first half. Now, was that a result of the way we were playing and being able to nullify them and limit their opportunities? Yes, but you know, you weren't going to see a worse half of football than that from Man City. They were always going to come better in the second half. The experience, the legs, the mindset, the mentality, it was always going to take over. And I sort of knew that. So am I sat here today at the fact that we didn't progress to the final, really gutted and feeling like, oh, that was our chance? I'm not. I'm really not, because when I look at these boys, I sound like I'm flip-flapping so much this season, but maybe it's because I was at the Everton game and the buzz of that, and seeing us turn up and perform well against Man City. I don't think we're miles off, man. I don't think we're miles off. I think come next season, we should hopefully be in and around that Champions League mix. When I look at the way we've played for the most part against the big boys this season, remember we've had a couple of shit performances, you know. Obviously the one at Anfield, that was a hard one to take. The one at Old Trafford against Man United was a hard one to take. But when you look for the most part at our performances against the big boys, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And I think if we can, you know, continue in that vein when we play them next season, as well as getting the points on the board against the smaller teams, then we should be alright, man. We should be there or thereabouts. I don't know. I mean, one thing that I can say is, at least now, like this season, we go into matches as we did yesterday against Manchester City, and as we will Tuesday night against Arsenal, and I'm not shitting myself. I'm not thinking, oh, this could be a cricket score or anything like that. Confident whenever we go into these matches, and that's no change from a Chelsea fan. We've always been confident going into these matches, but realistically, the way the land lies, and if you look at how our fate as a club has been over the last however many years, 2 years or so, we shouldn't really be confident. Yesterday, Man City getting knocked out the Champions League, coming back to Wembley. By the way, we haven't beat Man City since the Champions League final, I don't think. I think we've had 9 attempts since then, and maybe drawn a couple this season, but lost a lot of them. We shouldn't really be all that confident going into that match that we're going to be able to get a result against them, and I always am. So maybe that's a backhanded compliment towards Mauricio Pochettino. Maybe that's something that can show him credit for. One man I won't be showing any credit is Noni Madueke. We saw some horrible scenes the other day, the match I was at against Everton, just acting like a petulant child, mate, like just acting like a complete idiot and being really cringe, to be honest, like letting the boys down when he was trying to nick that penalty off Cole Palmer, and many people made this point. High pressure moments, penalty, last minute of the game, let's say for example against Manchester City or, you know, Man United, I didn't see queue of players lining up to try and take that penalty off Cole Palmer then, so, you know, horses for courses. But obviously the clip emerged. Thiago Silva was crying, Noni Madueke laughing behind him. Listen, things can be lost in translation. Sometimes things can look worse than they are without the intention of them being bad, or without them even being bad. So I don't want to shine a magnifying glass on it all that much, because, you know, pictures only tell so much of a story. But it doesn't look good, does it? It doesn't look good. And when you think about the fact that Chelsea have potentially got a little bit of a problem going on with the senior players and the young players, and not having much in the middle to be able to gel the two together, that sort of reflects on that, then it does. I don't know, man. I don't know. We heard a few words, didn't we, from Mauricio Pochettino? And by the way, this video is very unstructured. It's not like I'm in a studio with Josh recording this. I'm just sort of thinking out loud. But we heard a few words from Mauricio Pochettino about the transfer policy and the window coming up, if we can spend any money. Hopefully we can. And he was sort of saying about needing the middle ground of players, not the older heads like Thiago Silva, but not young kids like Cole Palmer, as brilliant as he's been for us this season, Malo Gusto, to name a few more. But we need some of those middle ground players, middle age profile. Me and Josh Veste and Brian, True Geordie, like to say, age profile wise, those sort of 25, 26 year olds, nothing wrong with that. If we can sprinkle 3 of them into the mix, I think that'll be really, really beneficial. When I look at yesterday, I'm not basing this purely off a Man City game. Is the Caicedo and Enzo pivot the one that we will be playing going forward? I've said so much about Romeo Lavia and the impact that I think he can have when he comes into this team, and I truly do believe that when Romeo Lavia comes into this team, there's going to be serious questions that need to be answered in terms of what is the pairing, what is our midfield. The smart money for me would say that Conor Gallagher does move on at the end of the season. I think that'd be a bad move. But then sometimes, you know, sometimes you do level up when a big player goes, you know. I remember when Liverpool sold Coutinho, I remember thinking, well, that's them fuck now, he's one of their best players in the season gone by, and then they did level up, and it can happen. I'm not saying I want Conor Gallagher gone, definitely not the case at all. I think he's been outstanding for the most part this season, but at the same time, maybe we're looking at the performances we've seen from Gallagher and not realising that maybe that midfield does need to be Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo next season. That will push us on. I don't know. I'm coming away mostly from yesterday's game with a feeling that we are going to be competing sooner rather than later. There's definitely still a revamp process in the squad. There's players that I wouldn't really want to see in a Chelsea shirt next season, and there's players that I would and players that I'd like to bring in. So we're getting towards that point now, end of the season. Listen, I saw a few Chelsea content creators yesterday saying it was the season done for Chelsea. It's really not, because for some reason I really fancy us to get a result against Arsenal Tuesday night. So I'm going to be dropping a preview to that video. Might even try and do a live for it. I'm still going to be out here on holiday, but yeah, I feel like we can get a result there. And I'll tell you what, we might put the nail in the coffin for Arsenal if we can do that. So let's see. Europa League football still possibly on. The fact that all the English teams pretty much fucking flopped in Europe, apart from Aston Villa, Unai Emery flying the flag high. Yeah, because of that, I don't know how many spots there's going to be. I don't know whether the 5th spot will get you Champions League football now. Possibly not. And if not, maybe Europe's done. But who knows, man? Who knows? I still think we can have a strong end to this season. When I look at the way we played yesterday, better teams than us have faced off against Manchester City and been beat this season, you know. Just coming in off the back, obviously, of their Champions League knockout, and you could say, oh, it's a good time to play them. Heads will be down. I don't think so. I think Man City are a bunch of mentality monsters, so I think they would have been more up for it. And to only lose 1-0 to them yesterday is, you know, maybe a sign of the times as where we are for Chelsea fans right now, that I'm saying, yeah, to only lose 1-0, but I don't know. I didn't think it was too bad. Listen, people, just a quick one. I wanted to get this one out so you did have some few post-game thoughts. Where did it go wrong yesterday, or did it even go wrong? I'm really interested to hear what you lot think about it, because I won't lie, I had about 6-7 beers watching the match yesterday, so don't remember half of it. But yeah, really interested to hear your lot's thoughts on this one. Mauricio Pochettino, how are you feeling about him now? You know, we've had a few decent performances recently, and look, yesterday, it's only, what, our 2nd loss in 12 games. I know that's not great reading if you're looking to, you know, emulate the amount of money you've spent and therefore reflect it in your league standing. But if we're going on about improving, 12-game run to only have 2 losses is better than what we've been doing. And you've got to be realistic, haven't you? You can't look at things and go, oh, well, it's just not Chelsea standards. Okay, but you don't just go from there to there. You've got to go through the journey and the process of building, levelling up, progressively getting better. I do think we are, you know. I do think we are. And a while ago I was sort of saying, oh, I'm not Poch out, but I'm not too bothered whether he stays or not. I haven't fully swung, starting to lean towards Poch in. I am starting to lean towards it. We create so many chances. We score so many goals. It's about getting it right at the back. And remember, Poch hasn't really had a transfer window to get his hands on things yet. Even the Cole Palmer signing wasn't a Mauricio Pochettino signing. They went to Mauricio Pochettino and said, do you want Cole Palmer? And he said, yeah, I'll have him. So he was on the market. They went and got it. Poch okayed it. Remember, we wanted Michael Elise. Oh my God. I'm not saying Elise is a bad player, but fuck me. We'd be about 14th, wouldn't we, if we had signed him? He's been injured half the time, so yeah, man. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. What do you lot think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will be reading them. I'll try and get back to as many of you as I possibly can. I will see you all in the next one.